The board of directors include chairman, who is also the CEO of the company. Then there is chief executive officer, and at the same level, there is an independent director under which 10 non-executive directors are working. Next slide, please. Now we look at some of the performance measures. So here are some of the KPIs. First, we have generation fleet efficiency. In this, we see that in 2014, the generation fleet efficiency of Karachi Electronics was 37.0%. Then in 2017, it decreased to 36.7%, and in 2018, it again increased to 37.4%. And lastly, in 2019, it decreased to 37.1%, and again in 2020, it increased to 37.7%. This was the overall trend. Now we have recovery ratio. So in 2014, the recovery ratio of K Electronics was 87.1%. Now in 2017, the recovery ratio increased up to 90.1%, and in 2018, there was a slight increment and the recovery ratio was reported as 92.6%. Now in 2019, there was a slight decrement and the recovery ratio was reported as 91.2%. And lastly, in 2020, the recovery ratio again increased to 92.4%. Next slide, please. Now we'll look at some of the KPIs which will determine the financial performance of the company. Here first we have the revenue. So in 2016, the revenue of the company was 188.6 billion PKR. Now in 2017, the revenue decreased to 183.9 billion PKR, and in 2018, there was a great increment of and the overall revenue was reported as 217.1 billion PKR. Now we'll look at the EBITDA, which is the earning before interest, tax, and depreciation. So in 2016, EBITDA was reported as 43.0 billion PKR, and in 2017 it decreased to 25.8 billion PKR. Next, in 2018, it again increased to 32.4 billion PKR. Next slide. Next, we have profit before taxation. So in 2016, the profit before taxation of K Electronics was 25.0 billion PKR. Now in 2017, it decreased to 8.7 billion PKR, and in 2018, it again increased to 13.7 billion PKR. So this was the overall trend of profit before taxation from 2016 to 2018. Now we look at the earnings per share. So the earnings per share in 2016 were 1.15 billion PKR. Now in 2017, it decreased to 0.38 billion PKR, and in 2018, it was reported as 0.45 billion PKR. Now we have return on PPA in percentage, and in 2016 it was reported as 14.2%. In 2017 it decreased to 4.4%, and in 2018 it maintained the same trend. Next slide. Now we look at some of the challenges faced by KESC in the recent years. So we know that energy demand in these years is very high as compared to the energy supply, especially in summers. So according to a report of DAWN in 2020, due to a system upgradation failure, KESC faced numerous challenges due to which unscheduled load shedding was observed. So basically, there was a shortage of furnace oil. There was a shortage of furnace oil in the market in 2020, and to cover the demand of the furnace oil, government provided KESC with LPG and some others and some other fuel sources, but KESC was not able to utilize those sources because of system upgradation failure. So in order to solve that problem, KESC is now working on system upgradation, which is supposed to work in by 2022 or 2023. Next slide. Now we'll discuss some of the effects of KESC on the overall businesses. KESC is a major, so we know that KESC is a major source of electricity in Karachi. It supplies electricity for domestic purposes, businesses, offices, health and education sectors. And besides this, KESC is reported to be providing electricity to 16 social work organizations, and it not only provides them with free electricity, but it also aids them with other leverages. Now it was also reported that KESC has worked on several capacity enhancement plants in most hospitals for fault-free electricity supply, and it has also worked on the incorporation of aerial bundled cables for theft-free electricity and consistent voltage. Over to Ramani.
So PAC stands for the Pakistan Atomic Energy Commission, which was established in 1956. It is federally funded and independent government organization. बेसिकली जो एटॉमिक एनर्जी कमीशन है पाकिस्तान की, वो रिसर्च बेस्ड एक अदारा है जो न्यूक्लियर साइंस प्रमोशन करता है, सिक्योरिटी एनर्जी सिक्योरिटी करता है और पीसफुल एप्लीकेशन फॉर न्यूक्लियर टेक्नोलॉजी प्रोवाइड करता है. Pakistan, there are three power plants in Pakistan. First is Karachi nuclear power plant, Chashma nuclear power generation station, and Karachi nuclear power plant unit 2. The first, the Karachi nuclear power plant was inaugurated in 28 November 1972, which has a total gross capacity of 137 megawatt. And Chashma nuclear power generation station have three units, which unit one, C1, C2, C3, and C4. Sorry, there are 4 units. So C1 and C2 have the capacity of 325 megawatt each, and C3 and C4 both have 340 megawatt, and they are commercial. They are operating commercially from 2006 to 16 to 2017, and moreover, the Karachi nuclear power plant unit 2 is based on the Chinese ACP 1000 concept, and which was started from August 2015 to 2016, and it is near to the outskirts of the Karachi city, and it has the capacity of 1100 megawatt, and its generation 3 design based on PWR. The unit is scheduled to come online from has online in from 2020 to 2021. So the main objective of the PACEC has the breaking to provide an academic isolation developing country for the scientists, and promoting high science education over to the wide advanced science and current needs according to the advanced science needs, and moreover to provide the modern physics trends and the application to the technology for the technological growth, and particular focus on the developing countries. And moreover, it also focus on promoting the scientific dialogues and provide the opportunity to collaboration and collaborative research projects. As you can see over here, a flow chart which could describe about the organization structure of PAEC. Over here, there is the chairman and there are almost 9 department heads of each department, which includes technical material system, cycle science, engineering, power, and financial and admin departments. So we coming towards the budgets. In 2017 and 18, there was a 47% decline in the budget for the PAEC, but in developing years, there was a 15.08 billion budget, and compared to 28.6 billion in the previous fiscal budget. Moreover, at that moment, PACEA has acquired the foreign loan of 17.56 billion of the total budget, primarily from China, for the construction of Chashma nuclear power plant 2 and 3 and 4. These nuclear projects were allocated of 3.11 billion on the coming years, and with 6.95 billion in the foreign loans. The fiscal year of 2019 and 20, the government has set as 24457.256 million in the public sector, and the development program for PAEC was ongoing and new project. And the budgeting allocation includes 220.777.971 million for the 17 existing projects, and for the new schemes also. The new schemes would all includes the cancer hospitals and other institutes which would help in PAEC to develop and improve in their field. Moreover, in 2020 and 21, the government allocated 297.437 million from the public sector, and for 18 ongoing projects and new schemes for Pakistan Atomic Energy Commission. The government has set 23097.437 million for the existing scheme and 200 million for the new single scheme. Moreover, EC also have faces many challenges. There was in one article which was published on Army Control Association, which was written by Naeem Saklan and Kethan and Log, which was written about the problem faced by the Pakistan nuclear. In 2012, there was an attack by Taliban on the nuclear complex of Dera Ghazi Khan, and moreover, there also in August 2012, Taliban attacked on the Air Force base at Cambria, northwest of Islamabad. At that air base, there was also there were also some I think so. You can say the things which were related to the nuclear aspects. It was attacked by the 9 militants and broke down in the premises of that air base. Luckily, it was there was not they couldn't enter in the air base. They were shot down and killed. To treat these terrorist attack, Pakistan has declared in formation of National Command Authority, which with then strategic plan division, which would be permanently serving which were employed for the security for the Pakistan nuclear arsenal and manage Pakistan's strategic institutions and deal with the weapon control and issuing and monitoring the export control as well of the nuclear facilities and their materials. Moreover, the government also set the policies through Pakistan Atomic Energy Commission, which in 2013 it was aimed to establish an efficient consumer sufficient power generation and transportation distribution system for betterment of the economy. This policy would eliminate the load shedding entirely and lowering the average cost of the electricity generation to less than 10 Pakistani rupees per kilowatt. Reducing the moreover, it also reduced the transmission and distribution losses from 23 to 25% to 16%, increasing the revenue collection from 85% to 95%. Also, it would also reduce the time required for decision making in the ministry level. It would also be reduced in this policy. Moreover, in 2015, there was also policy made for private investments in power sector and also in government issued power generating policies. The policy encouraged the private sectors not only build new power plants but also invest in the public sector power plants in various stages of development would also already built, but they were needed to be development. The policy goals were to provide low-cost power generation capacity in the country and prioritize the resources and make more efficient to them. From now onwards, Amar would tell about the independent power providers in the Pakistan.
IPPs. IPPs have been a controversial yet pivotal part of Pakistan's electric grid. They were commissioned in 1997 when there was a significant shortfall, although the shortfall was not evident on paper. These IPPs have since added power to the national grid. The working of these independent power providers is regulated by NEPRA and IPPA is the authority that acts as a mediator and liaison between the government and the IPPs. Different governments have favored some IPPs and have given tough time to some others. Some private IPPs have gone public and are expanding and operating at an increased capacity now. Next slide, please. Hub Power Company. Hub Power Company is one of the oldest IPPs in the Pakistan. It is thermal power plant with an installed capacity of 1292 megawatts. As K Electric is no longer a government-owned institution, the Bin Qasim power plant is operating at 1260 megawatts, which is the second largest privately owned thermal power plant in the country. Some newer power plants have been formed under the umbrella of CPEC Authority. These include the Shanghai Electric Coal Power Plant 1 and 2, which will add a total of 2640 megawatts to the national grid. Although both of these are not working at full capacity yet. Some small solar power plants are also sprouting up, like the Our Sun Solar Power Plant and Chinod Power Private Solar Plant Limited. They will add 50 and 63 megawatts to the grid respectively. Next slide, please. Objectives. IPPs were given the go-ahead by the government to produce electricity to overcome the load shedding practices. These have proven to be success because of the efficiency of the IPPs. Government-owned projects are often considered inefficient. When the IPPs were commissioned to produce electricity, it was thought that the IPPs will help in harnessing the power of nature and will increase the installed capacity in the process. The IPPs in business right now are utilizing the most viable option to keep the cost low and earn more, and that is also playing in the favor of the country, as more and more power is being generated from the limited resources. This was the aim when IPPs were originally allowed to produce electricity in the country. Next slide, please. When it comes to challenges, IPPs and the government are on respective terms. The road has not been so smooth. Whenever there is a change in the government, the contracts signed during the previous reigns are violated. The government falls in jeopardy, and there is an uncertainty as subsequent governments try to undermine the work done by their former colleagues. The government often delays the payments, do not pay at all, and rescind contracts altogether. There are other red tapes involved in the process as well. For getting license and net metering for solar panels in small electricity generation units is difficult. In addition to all these issues, the government, NEPRA, and WAPDA all have long bureaucratic chains of command, and decision making is often very slow and inefficient, which takes its hit on IPPs that are trying to cut down costs and maximize their revenues. Next slide, please. Developments. The present government has tried to reinstate some trust issues between IPPs and the state. And thanks to the better business environment, more and more IPPs are being set up in the country. The deficit between production and consumption is still negligible because of the land losses and electricity thefts, and IPPs seem to be the only solution in the country. IPPs are adding more to their installed capacities, and currently there are 45 different IPPs which are producing more than 15,000 megawatts of electricity and to the national grid. These additions are in the form of hydro, thermal, wind, and solar forms that will help the country to progress without having to worry about load shedding. Thank you.